Hey Jen,
Hey, how are you?
good. How are you?
Wonderful. Excited to be part of your health and wellness lunch and to be on the show this afternoon.
Thank you. Your episode is number 20,
Wow.
and it's number 20, and it is called Marketing from the Heart. So
Oh,
now you are the most recent interview, so I don't have to ask you what has changed between the time that we talked and now. But based on your, if you had to dial in for people, the connection between health and wealth, the connection to self-care, whether it be a tip that you do, maybe a practice that you do, or a message that you really want people to understand and get, what would that be?
well, as it relates to the heart, getting to the heart of marketing, getting to the heart of and the core of their business, I would say it's the one tip I really have that has helped me with my business and helped me in working with clients as well. As you know, JJ, I've been in marketing for over 25 years and we've had some chances to work together. But lately I've been working with the clients to get a little deeper around the purpose of what they're doing, helping them create some clarity. And so what we do is I help them create what's called heart coherence. And it's to get balance between the mind and the heart, right? We're such an intellectual society, and marketing has become so analytical and data driven that we really start to lose the purpose of why we're doing what we're doing. And usually it's to help people be healthy, be well, be wealthy, be prosperous. We just, so I help them create heart coherence, get into the heart, create some heart focused breathing, maybe have a pen and paper by them, uh, get into the heart, do heart focused breathing, and then sit in stillness for maybe a minute or two, just with their attention focused on their heart, and then ask their inner self, their higher self, ask the question, right? If they have a specific challenge they're trying to overcome, or goals they're trying to achieve, or they're just trying to get a little deeper insights around a life situation, they can, once they're in the stillness, once they feel connected to the heart, once they're feeling the feeling that their heart is activated, then to ask the question and just sit in stillness and wait for an answer from their inner self, their inner being. And a lot of times that answer, sometimes it could be like a one word pops in, or it could be a string of words, uh, ideas, concepts. Usually it's not auditory, like they don't hear it, but sometimes if it's strong enough, it can be heard. Um, but when they get an answer, they need to write the answer down and they need to act on it, because that answer is coming from their higher self and their deeper intuitive wisdom. And if they act on that, that's more likely to help them set up to succeed in whatever they're trying to accomplish. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's such an important tool to have. One of the reasons why it's taken me so long to launch this show is because I didn't have the right energy behind it in the beginning. Health and Wealth started as a way for me to literally write off going to events and with Doug to because there were a lot of people that would go and they'd have businesses that had nothing to do with health or spirituality or relationships, and so they weren't a right fit for my show, and there wasn't a direct like financial relationship to any of my other podcasts. And so I thought, I can't really keep justifying doing this. There's not like an ROI for me except joy. And that is an ROI in itself, but it
Sure.
really, but at that point I wanted to be something more. And I thought, and I've always thought of the idea of health and wealth, and I've always loved that idea. So I thought, I'll make a podcast about it. I'll call it Health and Wealth. And what it's like, it's the evolution of what it's grown into has deepened. In fact, so much so that I started a mastermind this year in 2020 because I finally understood why it's taken me so long to bring in the money conversation. I've been like very safely in the fitness and the wellness and the food and the nutrition and the law of attraction and the behavioral and the psychological, and that's all very comfortable. But I also feel like I've dialed that in enough that I have tools to help people. I have processes and programs, but there is a direct correlation to money.
Yes.
It wasn't, it's not that I didn't make that connection. It was that I didn't know that I had the skills or tools, or if I was ready to step into that. But what became really clear is, I've had mentors and masterminds in the past that I've paid for and been involved in, and upwards of, $10,000, $15,000. And while I'm in these, like, I get this, like, oh yeah. Cause when I was like really super money focused, I'm like, oh yeah, you're the person to go to. You have a couple of these things and I can follow you and you'll help me. But then, once you get involved with like a mentor or somebody that you hire and a little bit more about them and you see who they really are, there's a lot of people who show up in life and they're different than they are publicly, right? Like they have their public persona and then they have their personal persona, or they have this is what I tell people, but then they're often sometimes a little hypocritical on the back end of what they do. And it happened so often that I got discouraged. Like, God, is there anybody out there who's modeling the way the pyramid would work for me, which is to respect yourself, your relationships, and your health. And then from there, generate ideas and passions and intuitions about wealth that are in alignment with what you're supposed to be doing, not about just attaining a certain number on a spreadsheet or a dollar in your bank account. And so that is why I launched Health and Wealth, because it was the same time I'm also launching my 2020 mastermind, which is, it's almost full. There's only a few spaces left and I'm about to close it. But it was because I know and trust I can guide these members who are in it together to make joint venture partnerships with each other, create new revenue streams of income with their businesses, help people start side businesses from a place of abundance and not scarcity, work with collaboration and not competition. And most importantly, not be chasing the dollar at expense of your health, which is so many people do. And so this has been like the pivotal time to launch the show with a deeper connection to the message, not just a way to, because literally at first it was like, oh, health and wealth. I'll talk about health and wealth. And it didn't have like the deep underlying connection as it does now. And there's no reason why. I was looking for hey, I can do another show. I'll do another show on this thing to make it a tax deduction and a write-off to go and travel. And then every time I went to like think about launching it or think about, editing it, it was never the right time. And I was like, And then finally, like the momentum was enough that I'm like, now's the right time. And then with this whole 2020, I think whether you're spiritual or not, most people acknowledge that the year 2020 feels important. It feels it's mirroring, right? 2020, it's in alignment. 2020, it's about focus and clarity. 2020, there's something that we're called to move into, whether you're spiritual or not.
Sure.
Just numerology and being in a new decade, like kind of a clean start to, this is a little different than 2019, a little different than 2018. It feels like, it's time to be clear. And so I'm now providing clarity, and I really appreciate, the work that you're now doing. Let's talk about that. You've moved and you're still doing your marketing, and your company's called Whole Life Marketing, which is great. So move from Whole Life Marketing into Heart Math.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad you brought up what you did, if I can speak to it for a minute or two. Exactly. 2020 is about moving forward with clarity, focus, attention, clear intentions about all the things that you were building up and getting ready and prepping for in 2017, 18, and 19, right? Lots of ideas, things were percolating, you were getting things in place. 2020 is like, all the doors are open, go for it. This is a time of action, a time of forward movement, a time of surrendering any self-limiting beliefs. It's a time of self-love and self-care. It's a time of knowing that you can do anything that you absolutely love and possibly can think of. And if you do things with heart and passion that you love moving forward, the money comes, right? The money comes. And it's not one without the other. It's not health without wealth. It's not health without love. It's everything. We can really have everything that we want if we embrace it. And connecting with the heart helps that process, right? And that's why people are feeling this is all for love. Everything we do is for love. Everything we do is for a higher purpose. It's about self-care. It's all of these things are occurring and happening because it's time to move forward fully empowered, right? And that's what you're bringing. You're putting together people. It's collaboration. 2020 is two is partnership, two is collaboration. So with two followed by a zero, two followed by a zero, that's even amplified. So you're creating between the mastermind and the health and wealth podcast and all your other amazing podcasts, you're bringing people to collaborate, to have conversation and dialogue, to inspire people and to help them believe in themselves, right? So this is a really, really, really exciting time. Very, very exciting time. And I'm excited that, you know, we get to share this with the world together.
And the work that you've done with, health and wellness companies in whole life marketing has also inspired you to take your gifts and talents into new areas. Talk about the heart math, because what I'm asking people to do is also
Sure.
explain. So when you go to healthandwealthgifts.com, you get over $2,000 worth of free gifts. I've asked everybody to give a gift they don't normally give for free. So why don't you tell
Yes.
everybody what they get from you when they go to healthandwealthgifts.com?
Sure, absolutely. So what I've put together for your audience and for your members is a heart activation. Because with the heart math, science, technology, and simple techniques that we teach people to create that heart coherence, to create inner resilience, to overcome stress, to create a state of inner ease, to improve communication with self and others. You have to get into the heart. And people have a very difficult time. It's not something that's, you can just teach them how to breathe in and out of the heart and layer a few other visualizations or a few other steps and recommendations. You really have to feel the feeling. You have to feel the feeling of getting into the heart and what that means, and feeling care and compassion or gratitude and appreciation. You actually have to feel the feeling in your heart, so you actually have this spark or have this heart flutter, and then you know you're in coherence. Correct? Because we've been in our mind for so long, we need to really activate the heart. It's been kind of dormant. It's kind of like it got a bunch of stuff thrown over it. You know, we've all got hurt along the way. So it's like really kind of getting in there, you know, gently, in a very kind way, and activating it so that you're in coherence. So then you can move forward with your goals and your objectives of creating or getting more clarity on your vision for 2020, and if you don't have a vision for 2020, the year ahead or the 10 years ahead, from that place, you can then know that you're creating your vision with your heart engaged, the core of your being, your more authentic, your true authentic self, your higher self is engaged in the process. So what you set as goals is going to be a little bit more true to who you are, and you'll start making better choices in your life based on these heart-based goals and objectives that you put together coming out of the heart activation.
If anyone's watching on Facebook, I just want to remind you that you can come over to the Zoom by going to healthandwealthlivestream.com. Healthandwealthlivestream.com will bring you over to the Zoom, where if you ask a question, I mean, you can ask it on, I mean, I'm monitoring it right now, but you can ask it directly. You can be on the video. You can have some live coaching here in not too long. Actually, there's a question here. So here's a question from April. She said, how do you heal with a person that lives in their past anger and incompletions towards you?
Well, this is where you get into your heart, right? You get into a more heart-focused space, and you get into a place of compassion and care, and you send them love, and you see them immersed in the love and the light, and you just keep sending them care, compassion, love, seeing them in the light, and asking for the higher powers and whatever that might be for you, to really just help them see the light, help them clear any darkness. You can't change them, but you can change how you perceive them. And, you know, we're in a time, we're stepping into a time of more love, caring, compassion, and that has to be with our loved ones and with those who are not always so kind to us, not always so caring. Uh, you know, everyone has their own baggage and their own stuff, and they're on their own life journey, and they can only do for themselves uh, where they're at in their own personal evolution. But what you can do is take care of yourself and send them love, and send love to yourself as well. Self-care and self-love, the same love and light that you send to them, you need to send to yourself too, because you need to take care of yourself, and you just need to know that you will grow for this. Them seeing you engage with them differently will help them want to have what you have, right? If they see you grow and evolve, they'll want that too. Because we all energetically impact each other. Your electromagnetic field goes out 6 to 8 feet and affects everyone in your environment. And uh, and actually, it even goes beyond, right? Because that's why you have distance healing. You can send them distance love, whether you know what I'm saying. Does that kind of resonate and make sense? It's really you have to love people for where they're at, and just have compassion. We all have things from our childhood, from previous relationships, and you know, we all come with stuff. You know, rarely do you have someone who's pure and clean that can just step right into a relationship and everything is perfect. So we all grow.
Yes, and this is April, and April loves you. She said, "Yay, Jennifer Dickens rocks." I'm gonna take an answer. I'm gonna stab this question also from where I sit, and it's not really different than what you said. It's just a different way of explaining it, because there are a lot of people who will hear just send them love and light, and they themselves harbor their own angers and resentments and fears about that person, and so they can't get in touch with that love enough to send it to them because they're disconnecting from it themselves. So there are a couple of different therapies like Ho'oponopono, which can help to clear some energy, but even just on a frequency level, using law of attraction and understanding that, we all have our wounds. But the first place, if you're finding it hard to send love and light to someone else, it's most likely because you have your own triggers and wounds about whatever it is that they're upset about.
Mm.
And oftentimes we forget that people are a mirror to us. And so something that happens on the outside of it, if it triggers you, it means one of two things. One, whatever they're saying, you agree with on some level. Like if someone has a negative comment about you, you might get offended by it. But the reason why it upsets you is because somewhere you agree with it on some level. And or it is also indicating a place where you don't love yourself, or where that you have, again, a wound that needs to be addressed. So anyone showing you where, now if April, in the case that, how do you heal with a person? So you don't heal with a person. You heal separately from the person first, and then you can help influence the healing of another person, because again, a cup that's empty has nothing to give anybody else. So part of that self-love journey is you're not including other people on it. And for those of you that are new on the Facebook Live, if you want to come over to the Zoom chat where you can ask questions or get online, go to healthandwealthlivestream.com. So I like to always bring it back into us. Like, what can I do about it? I'm in this situation. I'm in a relationship. I have a whatever it may be, parent, child, spouse, whatever, friend. And we all want to always, like, there's the love and light thing, which I understand, and I'm not calling it a thing, but there's a whole group of people who will call it a thing and discount it because to them, it doesn't include where they currently sit, which is in a lot of fear, desperation, anger, shame, worry, and doubt. They don't feel the love for themselves. So they're not going to be able to, and they don't want to give it to someone else, because again, the whole point is they want the love. They want to feel good. So when you fill yourself up and you make peace with you and you deal with your wounds and you heal those wounds, you do Ho'oponopono. Yes, that's it. That's exactly. I'm sorry. And there are more. I did a whole show on Ho'oponopono, but those are the basic, but there's more. Like you can do different versions of it. So she was saying, I'm sorry, forgive me, thank you, I love you. We did, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. But it doesn't matter. Yeah, so there's a whole show that I did, April, on spirit, purpose, and energy on Ho'oponopono. So if you want to go check that out, it's pretty recent actually. So just find the podcast and it's a free show. The whole thing is about Ho'oponopono. And actually, also the first episode 2 on the Health and Wealth podcast, Napping Your Way to Millions, was the first time we introduced Ho'oponopono to my community. So it's not, we don't go into what it is necessarily, but we talk about the power of it. And this is from a business guy doing it separately from a business partner, and literally committing to clearing other people for them, right? And getting right with it and detaching. So it's a great show, the Napping Your Way to Millions and the Ho'oponopono show. But, for those of you that can't find that love for someone else because you have your own stuff you need to heal, for me, all the tools and tips I have and processes that I use in my coaching, in my shows, on my episodes, is really to heal you first. And to me, healing means you're different in the same situation. It's not about avoiding people. It's not about moving away. It's not about cutting people off. It's not about making some drastic, trying to control circumstances, because that's not realistic and it's not really healing. It's just avoiding. And so for that, if you can get to the place where you can make peace with whatever it is inside of you that resonates with that part of them, and start to work with that. Okay, she's asking, where do I find the podcast? So Health and Wealth, no. The podcast is on wherever you do podcasts. So Health and Wealth podcast will be on Apple Podcasts right now. I don't think I'm on Spotify yet, but if you also have a different podcast player like Podbean or Podcast Addict, I should be on all of those. Yeah, Apple Podcasts, right. Apple Podcasts, go to Health and Wealth or type in JJ Flizanes and you'll get all my shows. And subscribe. There are 20 episodes and Jennifer's show is number 20. So you'll definitely want to hear that since you're a, what name? Health. Yeah, I'm on Pandora now, Shauna. I'm on Pandora for everything else. What name? Health and Wealth. Let me show you the artwork so that you know what you're looking for. Okay, Health and Wealth. This is what it looks like. That's why I keep showing it. And you can find.
It's good you have that. I love it.
Right. Well, thank you, Michael Neely, because he's the one that made it for me last time I was up there. I don't have all my show art, but I have some of it.
Yeah.
So Apple Podcasts for sure. I'm on Apple Podcasts for sure. But just with Health and Wealth as well as all my other shows. So, again, I think all of the, there's so many different ways to approach the same situation, and some things resonate with others more than others. And so it's always great to have options. Because I know some people, like I can hear other people discounting it. Oh, well, that's too wooey fooey for me. Like, how do I send someone love? Because I know a lot of angry people who just want to blame the other person and say it's Flizanes, it's at the bottom of the screen, and it's also right here. Okay. If you're on video, you can see it's right here or at the bottom of my little box here on Zoom, FLIZANES. So, yes. So thank you for that.
Sure, absolutely. But it's good that you brought that up because when we speak, send them love, send them light, yes, we're speaking it. But when you're in the heart, right? This is why self-care, self-love, getting into the heart, it's like you have to generate those feelings within yourself and then you send it. They're not words of, like, I'm sending them words of love and light. It's like you get in your heart. This is why the heart activation is so important. This is why the heart math science and the techniques and the technology is so important. It shows you simple, healthy ways to get into the heart, feel the feelings, radiate compassion, radiate love. You can radiate it to yourself, to all others, and just include them in it. But it takes a little bit of time to get there. It's more simply said than it is
doing.
Right? It sounds simple, but doing it is a little bit harder. But I encourage people who are very interested to go to my website, jendickens.com/awaken, and that's where they can find your this offer, the heart activation offer for all the health and wealth health and wealth listeners.
Well, if you
So,
go to
oh,
healthandwealthgifts.com,
it's
that's,
there. Got
yeah.
it.
So you'll be directed right to it. So
Okay, perfect.
healthandwealthgifts.com.
Perfect.
So much love for him, but I want to shut him out when so much negative energy coming at me. April. So I want you to check out my show, Spirit, Purpose, and Energy. Okay. This is Spirit, Purpose, and Energy. And this is, we talk a lot about being in relationship with people and being able to separate their stuff versus your stuff. And yes, spirit, purpose, and energy. So check that out, because I talk a lot about this because it was my own experience as well. And again, using law of attraction principles to be able to, again, not click into his frequency. You can lovingly detach, and there are many different ways to lovingly detach. But there is a ownership of your own stuff first to be able to do that, and to be able to understand that you're not doing anybody any good when we come down to the frequency and fear and scarcity and anger and resentment that people live at. We think, oh, if I'm with you, you'll hear me because I've come to where you are to hear me. And actually it's the reverse. While we can't change people, we can inspire them by holding a higher position of love, right? This is where the giving of the love and holding the space for the love, we inspire them to want to raise up to that level. Otherwise, we're enabling them to stay where they are. So anyway, lots of information there. Please check out Spirit, Purpose, and Energy. And obviously go to healthandwealthgifts.com. He wants to bring me down, then he gets happy. Right, because it's a power struggle. You're in a power struggle where he wants to know he's important. So he does things to get you emotionally triggered. Then when you respond, he feels important. Okay, so again, you're in a power struggle and you want to cut the power struggle and in some way. And the first thing is to take your power back. But also what that means, everybody, because I see that he says you're controlling. You might be controlling. I don't know. We all have addictions and control might be yours, but okay. Well, it's not a judgment. We all have addictions. We all have ways we avoid emotion, right? And we avoid feeling. But in a situation where, we want to be able to be in love in the heart space that Jennifer's talking about. And again, she's offering a session. So everybody please go to healthandwealthgifts.com and get that session to have this practice, but also recognizing that loving detachment means you have compassion for the other person as well as compassion for you, but you don't make their mood, you don't react to their mood, and you don't play off of each other in this power struggle. And again, for women, we all a lot of times want to emotionally manipulate, although men do it too, emotionally manipulate people to act in a certain way or behave or react, because again, they want to feel like they're important because maybe they don't feel important. So this you have to get out of the power struggle. And
yeah, you can't, if I can just interject also for a sec. So they're trying to reel you into their drama, correct? So unless you want to be caught up in daily drama, you need to just not respond. Because what happens is when someone's trying to pull you in and you don't respond, the engagement changes, your interaction changes. It's like you're no longer fueling the fire, right? They're trying to pull you in. So then they don't know what to do, correct? Because there's no longer the banter back and forth when you're not responding, correct? And you can move on, you can move away, you can, it's not avoidance, but it's kind of like Aikido, correct? The Japanese martial art of Aikido. They take an attacker and they let the energy move on and past them. They don't take on the attacker's energy, right? So when someone's trying to get you in a argument or a dialogue or a conversation, if you engage in it, you're like participating, right? You're wrestling back and forth in this conversation. But if you let the conversation pass through you and you move on with inner peace in your own heart, and you don't let it affect you, then the drama doesn't occur. There is no fire, right? There's just no fire. Everything just dissipates. It's like the wind coming out of the sail of a sailboat. So it's just a different way to engage. I do encourage you to go to JJ's podcasts, and there's some amazing speakers, and of course there's amazing podcasts, and you've got some video shows on YouTube as well. So I think those are great resources.
Well, yeah, the podcast for sure, but also again, healthandwealthgifts.com get you a session
Yes,
with Jennifer
that's
to
right.
show you how to do
Yeah.
this, right? So you can get a direct session with her and get into this, and then boom, you've learned it, and then you can practice it.
Sure.
So
Sure.
yeah, so April, thank you for all of that. And Shauna, thank you for helping to clarify and look for me if I'm on Pandora or not. If anyone has any other questions, please feel free to put in the Q&A or here in the chat. So Jennifer, so we have that you on healthandwealthgifts.com, you have
Sure.
a free session you're giving. And I think, was there something else too? I thought there were two things I saw that you for gifts.
No, it's the heart activation. It's the
Okay.
heart activation. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Heart
Okay,
activation.
so that
Yeah.
is available again for a limited time on
Yes.
healthandwealthgifts.com. And then any other sort of last parting, again, let's look at the wealth side and let's look at
Sure.
marketing, because I know that you
Sure.
do a lot of so, and I know we
Sure.
talked about this on the show, but if you had to, for those of you that either have your own business or starting your own business, what have you found across the board with your clients to be one of the most effective ways to get out your message?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel that podcasts like yours, and like you were saying, collaborating, groups of business people, collaboration is a great way to get your message, your health and healthy products and services out to the world. That's always an amazing way for two reasons. One, this is a very social platform, right, with the podcast and your live streaming. So you've got video, you've got audio in the podcast. You can listen to it in your car. You can watch it, at anytime, anywhere. Same thing with you can listen, you can watch the information, you can learn when you're going for walks. There's no more excuses. It's not like you only have to sit with a book, but you have to find the time to read. I feel this is a great way for people to get information. It's a great way for businesses to get out there. Because I consider this like a summit, right? You're doing a health and wellness summit, an all-day summit, right? So
It is. I was just trying not to make it a summit. I was
eh,
like, how do I do the easiest version of this? I
yeah,
had no
that's right.
interest in putting a whole summit together. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, but you still got a whole group of great business people in the health space to come together and talk about their area of expertise. Um, I would say investing in good quality for individuals or small businesses to invest in good quality media production. So whether it's you get great microphones and cameras and tripods, if you're going to do your own live streams or your own podcasts, just have some good resources and tools to do that. Or if you're going to hire an agency and do a few promo pieces to promote your show, your products, your services, maybe a few professional pieces, and maybe have them train you on, if you can't afford a lot of professional media production, have them train you on how you can do it yourself, how you can learn how to edit there's great tools to edit footage, to add text overlays, to add, or even learn how to create GIFs, little animated GIFs, little MP4s, things of that nature. I think people investing in media production on their own and bringing in people is a great use of time and their money as they're getting started. I mean, even for established businesses, have product demos, have product testimonials, have them on your website, make sure everything is optimized, right? Make sure search engine optimization for your YouTube channel, every time you post your videos, is optimized. Do you have good thumbnails? Are you linking it to your website properly? Do things of that nature? Whatever you do, make sure it's optimized to be found on search and in all the search engines, right? Whether it's Google, Yahoo, Bing, YouTube, of course. So Instagram, all of those, and know how to share properly, correct? Uh, Understanding the different platforms and what they want is also really important. So for example, if you're on Facebook, you're live streaming through Facebook. Facebook prefers it that you're doing the live streams through their platform, right? Instead of doing it on YouTube and then sharing it on Facebook, right? They kind of frown on that. So I think you're doing it properly. I think you're doing it on Facebook and then maybe also on YouTube. I'm not sure. But, so the proper structure and understanding what the different social platforms want so that your media production is actually delivered in other people's timelines, right? That you have the right hashtags, that you have the right keywords, that you're being found for what you want to be found for, what you're offering. Be authentic, be real, be genuine, be creative, get out of your comfort zone, really express yourself, be expressive. I think all of these things, I mean, you see it with millennials and younger, and they just, my niece, she's on TikTok and she's got like 250,000, viewers of her little short snippets. And I'm like, okay, I want to see this. So she shows me and I'm like, really? You had 250,000 people watch that? So, so it's kind of like, okay, you go girl, keep it up.
April had a question about where did you, April, I see your other questions too, but we can't answer all of this today on this live stream. So please go to the healthandwealthgifts.com, healthandwealthgifts.com to get all these free sessions and things that you're going to get there. But you want to know, what did you use to design your Lively Heart website? Where did you study heart coaching?
Oh, I studied heart-focused coaching and business through the HeartMath Institute. And they've been around for over 20 years doing scientific research on the mind and the heart and the body and how everything engages. And so the reason why I'm focused now on teaching individuals and businesses about creating heart coherence is because they've discovered a lot of things, but the main thing they discovered, one of the main things is that your heart actually receives information from your external environment before your mind or your body. So the heart receives the information and it signals the brain as to how to respond to your external environment, and then the brain signals the body. So if you're not connected to your heart, you're not receiving the right information. So it's important to create heart coherence so these signals coming from the outside world are assimilated so you make better choices for yourself, and you're coming from a more balanced, harmonious, coherent, right? Coherence, that's what coherence is about. Most of us live life incoherently, right? Because we're not connected to the heart. So you can check out the HeartMath Institute too. There's a lot of information there. But go to the
Health and
free
Wealth
gifts.
Gifts,
Yep.
healthandwealthgifts.com. And I think she wanted to know what you used to design your website.
Oh, my heart-based website, I designed that in WordPress. And through a Divi theme that I customized and updated. Having a marketing agency, I have learned some website development, but as the owner of the company, I only do my own websites, my whole life marketing and my jendickens.com. And for our clients, we use professional web developers. But I feel it's important for me to know the ins and outs of development so that I have a clear understanding of when my team is performing well or not. So it's important.
Yeah,
Good question.
I could really use to learn WordPress, but be very helpful. I know how to do Wix, but I don't have a Wix site anymore. So Jennifer, this has been great. Thank you so much for being
thank
here
you.
today and for sharing
Thanks,
the
JJ.
wealth. Continue to let people know that Health and Wealth Gifts, they can get over $2,000 worth of health and wealth swag from all of my great guests today. So I thank you for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, and good luck with the rest of the day and all the amazing speakers, and I will speak to you soon.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone